Hey everybody, welcome to the Five Tools Show. Today we have an awesome guest, my friend behind the diamond, and you got to check out his channel. I'm going to leave a link in the description. And yeah, man, welcome to the show, bro.
All right, guys, man, thanks for having me on.
We were talking just before about how, you made the transition from, being a car dealer part-time with a full-time job to like full-time.
Well, well, to be honest with you, man, for years I was in the restaurant business. Uh, I for actually all my life since I was 18 years old, I've been in the restaurant business as a chef, front of the house, back of the house, 12-hour days, 6 days a week, crazy amount of work. But I was doing this as a hobby on the side. I set up at my first card show in 1998. Uh, Crazy, but I set up at my first card show in 1998, and it was at the VFW hall where I have my shows. Uh, so so basically, I was there. It was a Wednesday night show. It was Wednesday from 4 to 9. It was every Wednesday night. Awesome show. Uh, Once a week. I was looking forward to it. I started out with just a showcase and a couple of cards, and I just grew my business over and over. I kept buying and I sold, bought, sold, or whatever. And I was doing a little bit of both. So I was working, and I also set up at card shows when I can. Uh, but in the last 3 years, when I got furloughed from my job, I I took this, to the next level, to be honest with you. I had 2 storage units filled of stuff. And I could have really made it a business about 10, 15 years ago, but I never really did because, I wanted to, I was, I wanted to work or whatever. So, but this is definitely a job now, man. eBay, promoting shows, YouTube, uh, setting up at shows. So it's definitely a full-time job. If people don't think it is, it definitely is. Going back and forth to the post office, promoting, you know, spending money to make money. It's a tough business to be in, to be honest with you. It's not just a hobby anymore for me. It's a business. So, but I love it, man. You gotta love it. And I took over the Hicksville show 7 years ago. So I've been running it for about 7 years, and it blew up in the last 2 years. To be honest, it was only one room 7 years ago. One room, about 20 tables, and I probably only had about 15 or 20 people in the doors every month. So a lot of my dealers stuck with me, and still to this day, the same dealers actually still set up at my shows today. So they stuck with me throughout the good times and the bad times.
Hey, question on the eBay side, because me and Joe talk about it all the time about, I have cards on eBay. It's so hard to, it's not the easiest thing to sell or promote. Do you have any keys for the strategy on eBay? Is it price point? Is it promotion? Is it just what could you say to the viewers about selling on eBay? Like what any tools, any jewels you could throw at them?
Well, selling on eBay, you know what? I would if I was just new at this, I would definitely put up stuff on buy it now best offers. To be honest with you, I wouldn't run anything, because if you do want to run something on eBay, just run it on what you want it, the least amount of what you want to take for it. You know what I mean? So if you want to run a card for, if you wanted $5 for a card, start it at $4.99. And then you'll be happy with that one bid, and then you'll get your $5 for it or whatever. But I would definitely recommend in this time, definitely do buy it now best offers. You may not, get money or, make money right away, but at least put up auctions, maybe, every day, put 15 auctions up, and then all of a sudden by the end of the week, you'll have about 75, 85 auctions up. And then you just keep going and going. And then you can build a little store up, and eventually people will start giving you offers, and you can start making a business out of that.
Nice.
That's just my opinion. I would not run anything on eBay, especially now. Maybe back in the day, but not right now.
You're saying don't put up auctions now?
No, I wouldn't run an auction like like a 7-day auction on bids. I would do it like I would just do buy it now best offers.
Oh, got you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's just my opinion on it. I had about 750 auctions up of just buying now best offers, and every day people are offering you. So it's you're making your money, and then then you get to choose. You get to choose what you want for it. You know what I mean? If somebody's giving you a decent offer, you take it. Most of the time, if you're running an auction, you don't get what you really want for it. It usually goes lower the majority of the time. That's what happens to me most of the time. So, all these years, when I put up cards, I want, oh man, I'm going to get about $30 for this card. And I end up getting $18. And then they take out the fees. And then all of a sudden you're, 12 bucks on the card. And, you bought the card for 15 and, you're losing money,
What you said made a lot of sense. To just put the cards out there by now. Because what happened to me was I had a Brett Batty card. It was an autograph. I think it was like a Bowman Platinum card, whatever. It was up there for 3-4 months. As soon as the Mets called him up and he hit that home run, the thing sold that day. So if you have stuff up there, you just don't know who's hot, what happens. So people will find it if it's there. I mean, that's really the main thing. Me and Joe talk about it where we have so many cards, they're just sitting in the closet that we don't want. I know it takes time, but just put them out there because eventually they're going to sell. And just keeping them in your closet for cards you don't want is not doing you any good.
And it builds up your store too on eBay.
Yep.
So, as much cards as you have up, the more inventory you have up, the more sales you're going to be getting. That's just on me. That's what I think. Yeah. If you have 1,000 cards up, you're definitely gonna get offers almost every day on at least 1 or 2 of your cards, right? So you have a chance of making money every single day, even if it's only $20, $30. But if you do that every single day, by the end of the week, you have $210, right? And then by the end of the month, you have $840. I'm a numbers guy, so I'm cool. I'm crazy with numbers. So if I do get, $30 a day and I do 30 times 30, that's an extra, $900. So, you know what I mean? So like, to me, putting up cards on eBay and making a little bit of money is always good to rotate, back into the business,
Yeah, definitely.
Are you using like I really haven't sold cards in a while since they started doing the eBay shipping, like the dollar shipping. What's your like cutoff with that? Like, a $10 card, are you going to send with a bubble? Because another thing is like their cards. Like I look for certain cards, they'll be on COMC, like just inserts, nothing crazy rare, but like shit that really people don't have, but I like, and I'll look for it, and it'll be like $3, but shipping's like $6. You know what I mean? And that's like a killer as well. Sometimes when I have like even a $10 card up, to ship it, it's just really like who wants to pay that extra $5 or whatever it's going to be. So really add tax. Now it's an $18 card. Is it really, you know what I mean? Is it really worth it? So what's your thought? Use like the cheap.
To me, I put bubble mailers.
Bro, all bubble, yeah.
I do all bubble, and I do $3.49 across the board. That's what I ship. Even if it's my girl usually runs that, so she does all that for me. So, but $3.49, bubble mailer, I don't have a problem because I know how it goes. Actually, I did have a problem. I bought something on eBay actually a week ago, an Elijah Moore, the receiver for the Jets, an impeccable card. And I mean, eBay's getting bad, man. To be honest with you, it's a little crazy. He had a picture of the impeccable card with a 3-color patch, numbered to 25, and I just got it back in the mail. I just got it 2 days ago, and he sent me a single color patch, numbered to 25. Wow. So and now I sent him a message. He didn't send it back to me. I buy stuff all day on eBay. I get packages all day long, but like I'm busy. I'm not going to go crazy over $15, but well, no, it's like $30, but like, now I'm stuck with the card because it got delivered to me, and and it was I mean, I can send it back to him, but I mean, what's the whole sense of that? You know what I mean? It's just a little, eBay's getting a little sketchy,
Hmm.
to be honest with you, a little bit. That's why I'm trying to move away a little bit from eBay, but it's also good in a sense of like, if somebody's hot, you could put cards right back
Yep.
up and you can sell it to the world. So it's got you in both in both ways. You know what I mean? So I mean, you need it, but then sometimes I try to shy away from it and try to sell more at shows. I'd rather take a little bit of a loss at a show than selling it on eBay. To be honest with you, that's just my opinion.
Do you do straight cash at shows, or do you have the PayPal, or do anything with cards or anything?
Oh no, I do PayPal, Venmo,
Okay.
cash. Yeah, I do all I do those three basically. I mean, most of my dealers, some of my dealers take cards, some of my dealers most of my dealers take Venmo, PayPal, cash, everything. I mean, I have a pretty good set of dealers at my shows. They're pretty cool people.
I love the old
You get,
timers at shows because most of them they want none but cash. The old timers, they got the vintage. I have this one guy I go to, and he doesn't even, when people ask, it's almost like it's foreign to him. He doesn't even know, he couldn't figure out a PayPal if you paid him. So you get the old timers, and they just want what they know.
Yeah, no, there's actually at my there's two at my show that just accept cash. I
Yeah.
mean, I think Mikey in the back, he's got all the top stuff sitting down. In the big room, he only takes cash. He doesn't know anything about PayPal and Venmo and stuff
a
like
lot
that.
of like the guy with like a lot of nice modern stuff. Like he'll have like a sick Acuna and just like crazy new stuff.
He's
A lot of base.
he's in the big room. He's in the
Uh-huh.
big room, all the way in the back. Pretty husky. He has two tables. He's right by the door in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
back
yeah,
where they load in.
yeah. He takes only cash. Yeah,
He only takes cash. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, he's been with me for years. He set up at my show 7 years ago, and every time, 7 years, I heard it every day, every month. I didn't make any money, Johnny. I didn't make any money. I said, all right. I'm like, we good. Let's just stick it out and do what we got to do. Now, every time I see him, damn, the shows are crazy, Johnny. The shows are crazy, Johnny. I'm making money. I'm making money. I said, all right. That's all the lost times from, 7 years ago that you stuck by me. All my dealers, they did stick by me. And, because it was bad, bro. I mean, 7 years ago, it was fun. It was always fun, dealing with cards. But, it's not fun for dealers to be there for 8 hours and there's only 15 people that walk through the door. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Even though they're
yeah.
my friends, some of them will get a little mad if they're not making any type of money. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like now it's just been crazy. I mean, we put it up a notch, that second room, selling the shirts, even selling showcases now. I don't think any other card shows sell showcases at the shows,
Like entire showcase for sale.
the entire showcase for sale, sealed, right from the factory, sealed right on top. I have them in the front. I'm going to start selling them. They'll be at the Babylon show on September 25th, and they'll be at the next Hicksville show in October.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, if they want a showcase, it's $165, and they have a brand new showcase, not even used. It's all brand new.
That's cool. Yeah, I eventually got to a show at Hicksville. I'll just have fun, and
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's one of the cheapest show amounts. I'm not even trying to downgrade it. Like it's cheap, man. I try to keep it affordable for everybody. That's key too, because they're 8-foot tables. I'm gonna just say it straight out that in Hicksville it's $60 to set up. I mean, if you can't make $60 in an 8-hour day, then maybe you shouldn't be dealing. You know what I mean? So like, it's you should make a little bit of money, have fun, make connections, and it's definitely the cheapest show around. And it's not like it doesn't get traction. It does get a lot of traction.
Yep. Shows a lot of fun. We had this dude Steve Loff on, and he's an awesome dude with motivating people to sell cards. He's like, you know, but you're different, like in that your page on YouTube, you're like a nuts and bolts dude. Like you really break things down. That's really cool. I dig that because I learned a lot from just looking at you. I'm just like, oh man, I got to start selling cards again and like use some of your advice. But I'm just whatever, man. I gotta jump back into it. Just put up a few a day. But I think that's really cool how your page is like that. Like you're not, you know, like you're giving game out, man. You're telling people how to do this business and how to be involved with it. A lot of people that just they don't want to, you know, they don't want to do all that and give back, you know, because that's what you're doing when you tell them, you know, giving people advice on how to make a few bucks into it. So that's cool.
Well, there's nothing to hide, man. You know, there's nothing to hide, bro. You know, it is what it is. Everybody's in it to, you know, for the love of the game, right? That's my motto. You know, you're in it for the love of the game, but you're also in it to make money too. You know, you want to flip. You don't want to lose money, right? You know, you want to buy a card for $5 and try to make $1 on it, right? You know, you're not going to sell it. You're not going to buy it for $5 and sell it for $1. You know what I mean? So it's just stupid to do that. So it's just, I feel like if you tell people straight up what you're paying, how much things are worth, you know, and you don't burn any bridges in this industry, you'll go a long way. That's why I've been around for over 25 years, because I didn't burn any bridges. You know, I didn't rip people off. I didn't want to, you know, I didn't tell somebody, you know, oh, this card's $100 and it's really $300, because, you know, there's some people out there that do that, you know, and it's unfortunate, you know. And I also give away cards too, bro. You know that, you know, I have some giveaways. I give away cards. I try to make it fun for the kids. I don't like trading, but I always trade with kids. I'm not big into trading because I rather just buy it if I want it. I don't like giving up my stuff. You know me. Sometimes I don't like giving up my stuff. I don't know if you saw my full setup at Hofstra when I do like my 12 or 14 showcases.
Oh man,
yeah, you got to come down. You definitely have to come down and check out my my 14 like showcases that I set up. You know, I'm so anal about my setup. Like I have like a Yankee showcase. I have a Basketball Hall of Fame showcase. I have it like all like organized and stuff. And I try to give out the best prices, man. That's why people come to me, man. I give the best prices, and I try to be as fair as possible. I try to get as things as cheap as I could so I can give the fairest prices too. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know, that's funny you said about being anal with your showcases, because one thing, like a pet peeve for me when I'm at a show, is when guys say they have 5 and they're all just randomly. I mean, like, it has to be some order to it. I'm not saying you have to have it perfect, but, you know, at least have a vintage, maybe a modern, maybe like some non-sports, or like you said, Hall of Famers. But some guys have it. I mean, a lot of the younger guys I've seen do this, they just have stuff everywhere. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you know, I mean, just do a little bit of upkeep in here, man, you know, because you're trying to look and then you're just going back and forth. So what you just said, I mean, you might saying it's anal, but I think it's definitely a plus going to a show and have, you know, dealers do that.
Well, people make fun of me because I'm setting up at a Hofstra show, and you're allowed to get in there on Friday, and you have 3 hours to set up or 4 hours to set up on Friday night. And then overnight, you keep your stuff there. You put your stuff in body bags, you lock everything up. And then in the morning, you come back at like 8, 9 o'clock. The show opens up at 10. You only have an hour to set up, you know, fix everything up. But it takes me, no joke, to set up my whole four tables. It probably takes me about 5 hours. I'm that crazy with my setup. I have to have everything. Not everything is priced, which is crazy too. I don't price. Everything's off the top of my head because
wow.
I memorize the Beckett price guide back in the day. Now I memorize eBay and all that stuff. So it's off the top of my head. But every showcase has a purpose, and every showcase is either like, if it's Abdul Jabbar, everything is together and it's overlapping and it makes it look all nice. Then I have Julius Erving next to him. Then I have Magic Johnson next to him. Then I have, you know, Jerry West next to him. And then I just keep going down until you hit the modern, you know, Donovan Mitchell or Jason Tatum, until you hit that. That would be in a different showcase. But no, definitely I have to have like a Yankee showcase, a whole like 2 or 3 Hall of Fame showcases with all the Hall of Famers, which is crazy. All the Hall of Famers from like the 60s, the 70s. I get to that point that it's like, for me, like the setup is everything. You know, you don't want to go to a restaurant and you see the front of the house and it's all messy and dirty. You're not going to eat in that restaurant, right? So that's just my motto. You know what I mean? Like I have to have, when people come up to me, I want them to be impressed with my setup. And there's a lot of people that come up to me and they say, "Wow, man, your setup is the best in the show." And it's not necessarily the best cards I have. You know what I mean? It's not like I have $3,000 or $4,000 cards. You know, I have cards that are from $30 to $1,000. You won't see. I would keep some of my cards home, but you don't see cards that are over $1,000 in my showcases. They're all between 30 and 1,000, and it's affordable for everybody. So I try to cater to everybody that has $5 in their pocket, or that has $2,000 in their pocket that wants to buy an abundance of cards. So that's my thing, man. That's what I try to do, and I've been doing it for years, and it's been working. So I'm not gonna stop now. So when if you have guys ever come down to Hofstra or Westchester, one of these days, just check it out. You don't have to buy anything, but just check out the setup, man. I take pride in the setup. I don't need to make any type of money at the show, but my setup needs to be really good, to be honest. That's just my thing,
Presentation is everything, right?
That's it, man. Just like a plate presentation when you're putting it on the table for somebody to eat, right? Even if the food's not that good and the plate presentation is good, you're going to eat the food. You're going to be like, "Oh man, it's awesome," right? So it's all about presentation. That's just my thing.
Hey, how did you get into the business? I mean, not even the business, the hobby. Was it, just collecting as a kid? When did you get into it? How did that go about?
Well, I grew up in Maspeth, Middle Village area, and they had a deli. I have a brother that's 5 years older than me. And he used to take me across the street to the deli. And I opened up my first pack in 1984. And I just never stopped after that. My brothers stopped. I mean, they stopped collecting and all that stuff. But he used to take me across the street because I couldn't cross the street alone. And, I went. We used to buy packs, 25 cents, or maybe, I think it was maybe 15 cents. 15 cents or 25 cents. And I used to just come home. And back then, I didn't throw them around. You would think that you're 6 years old or 7 years old, you would throw them around. I didn't throw them around, man. I kept them in like perfect condition. I used to look at them. I didn't have soft sleeves because my father didn't take me to baseball card shops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I put them in like a shoebox or whatever, just like, like everybody else. And, then once I got a little bit older, I bought, the 2-row boxes and, the 300 counts. And I used to start putting them in there, but I kept them as mint as I could. Even though I looked at them every once in a while, but, I didn't want to bend the corners. I didn't want to scratch the surfaces. And when I pulled that Don Mattingly 1984, rookie, it was just on after that because he's my favorite player. So, I mean, I have tons of Mattingly stuff, and it's just, I loved baseball. That's where it started. So baseball was like where it started. I played, I loved it. I didn't stop watching it. I watched it Channel 11 with Phil Rizzuto and, Roy White, as the announcers back in the day. And I just never stopped after that. And then I grew to love basketball and football and, and I just never stopped collecting, to be honest with you. Not even not even in college when when you're hanging out with girls and, you're going out and stuff. I secretly still wanted to open up a box and, open up a pack, to be honest with you, even on the down low, even though, you maybe your girl would be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Opening up opening up a 1995, pack or whatever. You know what I mean? So like, I still did it on the down low. Then I just took it to another level in like 2000 and like 2005. I took it 2004. I really took it to another level. I set up at my first show in 98, but I took it to another level in like 2003, 2004. I just didn't stop buying. And, it can get you, a little bit though. There's some great stories and there's some bad stories, to be honest with you. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, you have to be patient. You have to buy when you have the extra money, buy when you sell other things, sometimes, unless you're filthy rich and you don't care about money, you know what I mean? But like, you got to be patient, buy the deals, sell some of the stuff, keep some of the stuff. And, you just have to know how to operate a business,
It's good stuff.
Yeah, man. 84. Yeah, that's crazy because I think Joe too, but that was my first set was 84 tops. And I actually showed, Joe knows I have a Mattingly from then that I kept in box for years, and it came out as a PSA 9. That's like my favorite because it is a card I pulled as a kid. And you always think back in those days, oh, these cards are mint and all this stuff, but they're really not. But that card was just mint, I didn't, it's not a 10 or whatever because it's, in those boxes, it's a little bit curved. But yeah.
But a 9 is good, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
especially childhood
good.
card.
Good with the card being a 7. It's my Mattingly from when I was a kid. But yeah, those like from 84 to 89, I have all those sets hand collated as a kid. Those are the only sets I really keep. I have some earlier sets. I have 81 and 82 and 83. But those, I bought those. That era of baseball is dope. I stopped collecting in probably around 94. And then, I would buy a box here or there, but I didn't come back fully crazy into it until 2017 or the end of 2016. And then it got really crazy, but that's awesome that you ever, because, me and Joe, we always say, well, you never really stop. Like I would go to a garage sale. I'd see like a box of 89 tops for like $5, like a complete box. I'd buy it, put it on the shelf. I get drunk one time, open it, bug it out. But like, I got really, after not being into it for a while, when I tried to go back and I was looking at stuff like 2006, 2007, I went on Topps website, man, I didn't know what was what because I stopped collecting before like the rainbows and shit like that. Like there were parallels in 94, but that was like the early year of, 2-3 years of basic stuff. And when I came back, I was just like, yo, what, not even the parallels, but like going to Topps.com and I'm seeing like weird Star Wars stuff and all this shit. I'm like, where's the baseball? And I'm like, what's this set? What's that? I'm just looking for flagship because we didn't call it that back in the day. It was just Topps,
Yeah.
It was kind of not really that good for people, I don't think, like to get back into it. But that's awesome that you never really stopped ever. Like you kept collecting through college. Because that's when, even high school, I was like, I'm good. I want to chill with girls. And
no, of course. The same thing with me, man. Play basketball, chill with girls, hang out, have a car, and all that stuff. But like, but definitely secretly, not every day, but, I went to a store, stop at a store and I bought a couple of packs or I bought a card that I liked and, and I just secretly put it away. And it was just, and it works out to my benefit because, during the pandemic, I had two storage units full of stuff to sell. So it was just, it's just nonstop. So, but I went in a little heavy. I mean, I had a couple of nice big hits back in the day and I made a little bit of money and stuff. And, now I promote shows and just have fun with it, and buy what I like, man. Like whenever you put up stuff too, man, when I look, I'm like, damn, man. I was like, I don't even have that card. When you put up stuff on your Instagram, you put up some nice stuff, man. To be honest with you, like just cool stuff that you don't see that often. Like, and people should appreciate that stuff a lot more than they do. Even the stuff that I put up, like I don't think people appreciate, 45 Don Mattingly autographs. You know what I mean? Because some of the people are like, who cares about Don Mattingly? You know what I mean? But like Don Mattingly was one of the best players in the 1980s. He had one of the best swings of all time. You know what I mean? He had, 8 games in a row with a home run that didn't get broken. You know what I mean? Trout had 7, right? He's up there, man. He really should be in the Hall of Fame, but who am I to say?
He was all our heroes as a kid. You went to the stage, watched Donnie. I mean, there wasn't there wasn't anybody in the upper deck back then. There
No.
wasn't. There's this picture I have that my mom took this picture. I don't know if you could see it, but
Yeah.
it's I keep that with me. I mean, that was life back then. My mother used to buy cheap tickets, and then by the fourth inning, we'd move down because no one was there. You get right into the first 5, 6 rows to watch Donnie. I mean, that's all it was about.
It was Don Mattingly at first, Mike Pagliarulo at third,
Oh,
and
Pags.
and
was-
I was just, in awe. I was fortunate. My father, had season tickets for the Yankees right behind third base dugout, second row, through his job for about, probably like 15 years. So I was lucky, and I was there a lot. So I got to see them a lot, and, taking pitches, the other team throwing me the ball, or, it was just awesome times, man. And, you got to appreciate those times. So that's why I collect Mattingly. I was going to actually post, I just found a box full of Don Mattingly cards, they quarter cards, dollar cards, or whatever they were, from like 1985 to like 1995. I must have bought a box. I was cleaning out my closet because I'm redoing my room. And it was just a bunch, like stacks of cards, maybe hundreds. And I was going to post, like, it's not all about a $3,000 card all the time. You know what I mean? It's, if you like the player, and you enjoy collecting, you should just buy the player, man. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're going to PC somebody, you should buy the cards that are, $800 and buy the cards that are 25 cents of that player. You know what I mean? If you really want to get into it, but then, I don't know. That's just my opinion on that, with Mattingly stuff. I collect Mattingly, Stockton, Ewing, stuff, guys like that. I just love, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that the whole Mattingly thing, and the Yankees baseball as a kid with Rizzuto and the whole thing, whether you were at the game or you were at home, you got like an experience. It sucks now because on Friday nights I can't watch, like if you want to watch the Yankees, I think it's obscene that it's not on regular baseball. It's on you have to have Yes, you have to have Apple, and you have to have
Amazon.
That's ridiculous. And like for
It's insane.
Right? It's like, in Queens, I mean, you're from Queens. This is an area where there's a gazillion immigrants. Like, you want to get young people into baseball and stuff, like, you're not putting it on TV for free. Like, you want
the whole blackout thing, Joe. It's the whole, they need to chuck the whole blackout. Listen, I live in North Carolina. Anytime the Orioles are on, listen, the Orioles are 6 hours away from me. But when they're on, it's blacked out. So 18 games a year, I can't watch. For what? I'm not anywhere near anything. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole blackout thing with baseball. It's so outdated. They need to just get rid of it and just let people watch the games wherever they are. It's ridiculous.
I get nervous too. I get nervous because I'm flipping through the channels, and I have Yes, but like I'm flipping through the channels, and I know the Yankees are on, and it's 7:00, and I'm like, oh man, where's the game? Because I'm not, and then I have to text my daughter, and because my daughter's she loves the Yankees too. I mean, she's insane with the Yankees, so I have to text her, and I'm like, what channel is the Yankee game on? And she's like, oh, it's on Amazon Prime, and I'm like, fuck, I can't. Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh man, I can't watch it or whatever. So like, it's a shame, man. But I guess these days it is what it is. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's a tough one though. No free baseball on TV for people in New York who've gone through all this shit in the last 2 years. You can't let us skip baseball. We got to watch all these different apps. Ridiculous.
I don't even know how to turn on the apps, to be honest with you. Sometimes I don't even know how to do it.
It's annoying. It's just an annoying thing. Like, I got to sit down now and figure this thing out, or I got to take out my credit card. I think my wife has it, but I just don't even want to sit there. So I just listen to the game. I'll just put it on. I'll read or whatever. I'll put the. But let me ask you another thing. When it comes to like selling stuff, like, in bulk, like say for example, you're talking about PCing Mattingly. Like I have tons of Mattingly cards, but I also a lot of guys that I don't really PC. Like I just can't say no to, it's a Hall of Fame card, whatever. A guy. So I have tons of like, even players that aren't Hall of Famers, so with stuff like that, like say I'm trying to, get rid of like 75 Paul Molitor cards. What's the best approach? Because, the dollar cards is cool, but I gotta liquidate a lot of stuff. So like, what would you suggest with that? Like selling lots? Does it work?
I would sell it in lots. It depends on the Molitor. I mean, I love Molitor too, but it depends on which ones. If there's a couple of them in like the early '80s, if they're like
maybe there's a couple like in '83 and '80, maybe a couple of '82, maybe beat up. Most probably when I was like '84 to '89, I probably have like 60 or something, whatever. And then the '90s cards, I got like the Molitor inserts. Yeah. He had a long career, so it's like
I would sell it in lots, man. You got to sell them in lots. Just put up 30 card lots. Do
the same way. Like, say I want $20 for this lot, and I'll put it at $19.99 and take an offer.
And take an offer on it, and just let it sit there because you're gonna get the price that you want. If you let it run, you might get only $2 for it, but you're gonna get somebody that you have to also think that if Molitor is signing at a show in Chicago or whatever, somebody may want to buy those 30 Paul Molitor cards and give you the $15 too. So if it's sitting up there, that's the whole thing. If it's sitting up there, you could definitely make the money. It's going to take a lot longer to make the money, but it's just in your store. It's basically like in your store, if you had like
Man, so I should know better because most of the time that I've ever sold stuff on eBay, I put it up as a buy it now, not because of anything that I know about it, because I don't really know too much about it. But I always thought of it like, when I'm looking for cards and I see a card I want, like I want to buy it now. If I can make an offer, that's cool. But even if I don't, sometimes I'll make an offer and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it because I want to buy it, and when I did have, I put a bunch, maybe a couple of 2-row boxes that I had on there. I'd sell maybe like a card a day when I was selling the most. We did that for like a year or something. And, it was flowing well and all that. But that's the whole thing. Like I would leave them up. So somebody would eventually be like, all right, whatever. I'll give you $6 for that, 86 traded Barry Bonds rookie or whatever. Okay, cool. Like I leave it up, eventually sell it if they offer less. But that, I guess, I was looking at like with the Marcana card, I looked at similar auctions and like somebody got like, you said, it's funny, you said $30. Somebody had $36. So I'm like, if I get like fucking $12 for this card, I'm good, but I got $1 for it. So It is, but that's a good piece of advice. Also, let me ask you, what do you think? I mean, with Fanatics taking over Topps, and also now, I don't know if it's confirmed, but I think it was confirmed. I could be wrong that they bought Panini's American sports business. What are your thoughts on that? Like,
I think Fanatics
on it, because like, how about this? Like, how do you think that's going to affect you? How do you think it's going to affect breakers? How do you think it's going to affect different like aspects of the hobby?
It's not going to affect us because we're, dealers, collectors, but it's going to affect some of the breakers and, how they distribute wax. I don't buy wax, sometimes I break a box or two or whatever. Like back in the day, I used to break a lot, but, that's not going to really affect me, but it's going to affect stores and it's going to affect breakers. It won't. Fanatics, I think, is actually going to enhance, dealers. I think it's going to be awesome. They're going to sell cards in stadiums. They're going to sell cards in different types of, in different places too, not only in Walmart and Target. Cards are going to be sold all over the place. So like, I think it's going to help the hobby, to be honest with you. But the breakers and some of the stores, I think they're going to have a little bit of a problem if they're, with their allocations and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they're definitely changing some of the distribution channels as well. Also, what I think is cool, and I was talking to Joe about this, is like, I love Donruss. I know it's the fake Donruss, but I still buy without the logo because I'm not buying the car, you know, I'm not buying the team, I'm buying the player. If I like a Juan Soto rookie or whatever, that's a Donruss, I'm not going to not buy it. But that would be awesome if Donruss, you know, was, if like the dudes at Panini were like, you know what, we're going to start doing like crusades and stuff, like one out of every 900 freaking boxes, like, you know, like not pallet hits, like warehouse hits type cards, like numbered to 25 and then 50 and then 100, and that's it. Like, that's really cool. And I hope that, I mean, listen, I have no idea when it comes to what's going on with Topps and what state they were in before this happened. I don't care. I don't really care. But I just try to think positively. I think that would be awesome, you know, to be able to buy cards, make it ubiquitous like it was in the 80s, where it's like, yo, I can buy cards anywhere. Fanatics took over. They're selling it at Modell's now. I can go get it at wherever, you know, because right now it's annoying. Like, I try not to buy newer cards too much, but I still like to rip, like, you know, Topps flagship and, you know, occasionally some Bowman stuff.
Yeah, like a blaster every once in a while.
Yeah. For me, unfortunately, it's more than one. So that's where a lot of my newer, like, I started to buy boxes more in the last couple of years. And not the crazy stuff, but a lot, it's like, oh, let me buy this box of like 96 Pinnacle or like 98 Upper Deck, whatever, you know, like a box of Ionics, $150 box, great inserts in it, you know, that stuff. And it's like, then I accumulate all the other cards that, do I really want them? Like, what am I going to do with them? But yeah, like going back to I just hope I got to think that it's going to be, you know, I mean, I thought it was going to destroy the LCS game in the beginning. I really did. But the more I think about it and read about it and talk to dudes like you, you know, I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to help the hobby, man. I think a lot more people are going to start to collect. And I heard I think Fanatics is going to try to take over Upper Deck too.
Yeah, see that we were talking about that. Me and Joe were like, yo, Upper Deck's like the only one standing strong, kind of, but like, you know.
But remember, if Fanatics gets Upper Deck, that means LeBron and Jordan are going to be signing in their products too. Know what I mean? So like that could be a good thing, even though I'm not crazy about LeBron, but still, I mean, LeBron autographs, I mean, they sell. So like, you know, that type of stuff. You have guys like Darius Garland and, you know, other guys that are strictly Wayne Gretzky. No, they're not Gretzky. Yeah, Gretzky is in Upper Deck, right? So like those type of guys those type of players are definitely going to be, if they take over Upper Deck, it's going to be awesome. And that's what I think.
Hey, brother, off topic.
Awesome.
What is there a Grail card for you out there that you just haven't touched yet? Is there one, or is there anything like that or for you it's more just a strictly business thing where that's it?
It's with me, you know, like I say, like, you know, yeah, Don Mattingly's my PC and John Stockton and Ewing and all that stuff. But like, to be honest with you, I don't really have a PC because everything is for sale, right? Everything has its price. So I don't like, and when people say, oh, I have a PC, you know, as a dealer, I mean, if you're just a collector and you never set up at shows, everything is your personal collection and you don't want to sell anything. But I'm a dealer. I mean, I've been a dealer for a long time. So I have like 90 Mattingly autographs, you know, on cards, you know, from everything from number to 10, number to 5, number to 199 or whatever. I brought 45 of them to the East Coast National and I sold about 5 of them. You know, and yeah, I mean, Mattingly's my PC, but I mean, I sold 5 of them because I'm going to make a profit on it and I'm going to buy 5 more. Know what I mean? So like, it's, you know, basically I really don't have like a Grail card that I'm looking for, because the Grail thing that I'm looking for is the next deal, to be honest with you, if I want to go that way, you know, that's the next thing. Whatever the next big deal is my Grail. You know, because right now I'm working on a deal with somebody in Long Island of 1968 set, the 1968 set, all the way down to the 1993 set. Damn. So I'm looking, you know, that's my next thing that I'm looking at to buy from 1968 to 1993. It's the whole complete set in excellent to near mint condition. You know, I'm sure there's a couple of VG cards in between, but you know, 1968 is Nolan Ryan. 1969 is Reggie Jackson, and then it goes down. That 1971 set is really good with the black border. So that's my next Grail, edition.
So for you, I mean, basically, even if you found a card or a set that you always wanted, it's for sale. So yeah, I might have it for a while, but it's always for sale. That's basically
Everything's always for sale.
Yeah.
No, it's weird because if you look at my page, it's weird because the majority of the pitches that I put on my page, I still have like 80% of that stuff. I try to sell the stuff that I don't want. Like I try to turn my 50-cent cards into a nice $150 card, because I rather sell 50-cent cards all day, and people go through my boxes and they spend 100, 150, $200 on 50-cent cards. Then I move over and I buy 3 Don Mattingly autographs. You know what I mean? That's my thing. Like I try to get rid, and I just keep going up, and that's just the way that I do business, But the majority of the stuff that you see on my page, 85% of it I still have, which is crazy. But on top of that, I'm making money, and I don't show my $2 cards. That's just what I sell. I sell a lot of $2, $5, $10, $15 cards, and I just keep rotating that, and I just keep buying collections. Like even if it's a collection of a $30 like a $30 box, I buy it. If it's gonna make me 15 on top of that, I buy it.
It's good stuff.
So,
Also,
John,
the majority, and also too, like if you don't notice on my page, comics are like my PC. Like I have like a strange addiction to comics. Like I feel like comic books are going to hold its value a lot more than cards will in time. And I'm not talking about Mickey Mantles and Willie Mazes, but if you can compare like Amazing Spider-Man to Mickey Mantle, to be honest with you can, because those are basically like the same caliber. Like a Amazing Spider-Man #4 is like having a Mickey Mantle, 1955. You know what I mean? It's comic books are basically kind of like my PC, even though I do set up at shows. I try to move some stuff, but I do collect. I have like an insane collection of comics too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I've seen your comics, bro. Like I have a few, I'm not a comics guy, but a friend of mine, he actually, unfortunately passed a couple years ago, but this dude was a comic dude, man. Like this guy was a legend. He actually had a pretty awesome comic podcast he was doing, but I appreciated all that stuff from seeing his collection and just being like, wow, that's crazy. Very cool, man. I like that stuff. I have a bunch of friends that are like heavily into the comic collecting. Very,
Yeah,
very
dude,
cool.
because that stuff just doesn't go down. You know what I mean? I guess it's like vintage. I mean, it just, some of that stuff doesn't go down. And, over the last like 3 years, I've gathered up like 500, like between 500 and 600 graded comics. I just keep buying collections. I mean, I got lucky. I bought a collection, and then I graded some of these books, and and it just keep going up from there. But that's comic books. But that's the cards. Basically, I don't have a grail. Like I'm not looking to spend $30,000 on a card. I'll never do that. That's just me. I would never spend $30,000 on one single card. I would be too nervous.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having $30,000 worth of cards. Like it's so crazy. I would buy a collection for $30,000 and have thousands of cards, but I wouldn't buy one card for $30,000. I don't know if it makes any sense, but that's just me.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like anything. It's like, I mean, not that, even basic, stock market stuff, like you don't just buy one stock. If you're going to spend 30 grand in the stock market, you want to spread it around a little bit, unless you know something that's crazy or you're buying like some absolute blue chip stock at a low price. I mean, I'm not a stock dude, whatever, but it's that kind of a thing, So
Yeah, I
man.
just can't. I have to just, I don't know. It's weird. How I do my business sometimes is, you know, it's a little weird, but like I like to buy collections. I like to buy an abundance of cards. I like to keep some of the cards, sell off, try to make my money back, and then make a little bit of profit on top of that, then go on to the next, and that's just what it is. And I'm straightforward, and I say that I buy stuff at 75% of eBay. If it's $100 card, I would give you, $70 to $75 for it. That's kind of fair. I need to make money on it, too. And if you want to sell it, you sell it. If you don't, then you move on and you try to get the $100 for it. You know what I mean? That's just what I do. I try to, I'm trying with this guy to get these sets. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, these sets will be mine, I hope.
That's all.
And I don't know if I'm going to sell the sets, because I run into a lot of, like, the last couple of years, I ran into a sick amount of vintage stuff. And, I don't sell vintage at my shows. I sell autographs and like modern stuff. But like, I got some of this vintage stuff that's so cheap, I ended up selling it to vintage guys. And like, after I sell it and I make double, triple my money, I regret it. And, I'm like, oh, damn, man, why did I sell that Julius Erving rookie card? I mean, I had 5 of them. Why couldn't I just keep one? Why did I have to sell all 5? Because I wanted to make more money, so like this collection that I might buy, I may not sell. I may just keep these sets, because over time, I think these sets will double in the amount. I think. I mean, I don't know.
68, you got some big legends in that set. The Nolan
68
Ryan
is a Nolan Ryan rookie, Johnny Bench, like 69 is Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
71, the high numbers and the black borders. I'm not crazy about the 70 set, but whatever. 72 has Carlton Fisk, and it has the Clemente. The 73 has the last Clemente card and the Mike Schmidt card, which is on fire right now. Yeah. Schmidt rookies. I mean, if I can get these sets, hopefully I don't need to sell them to try to get money back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got that.
That's just what it is. I mean, it's not, not everybody can afford this hobby, man. This hobby it's expensive, man. So you got to take it easy. You got to, buy what you like, and, over time, just, eventually set up at a show and have fun, maybe have a collection, build a collection, take 6, 8 to a year, and then eventually maybe set up at a show and probably turn it into a little part-time job. That's the best part about this business, because back 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't really a part-time job, right? Now it's like, now I can do this for a living, which is crazy.
It's awesome, man.
But I got lucky, man. I mean, I did a couple of good things, a couple of right things, and, I broke a couple of boxes. I have to tell this story. I know my girl keeps hearing this story. If you guys don't mind, I have to tell the story about, it's an awesome story. I bought a box of Upper Deck Exquisite, 2007, 2008 Upper Deck Exquisite basketball. It was $500 at the time. It was a 3-box case. I don't know if you know Seymour, the store in Westbury.
Yeah, I was there the other day.
Oh, you were there the other day. Okay, Seymour. He's been around a long time. He's got everything, right? I used to actually set up with him at shows. I used to help him sell his wax, and I was cool with him and stuff. He's a real nice guy. He's a little abrupt, but he's a really cool guy. Yeah, awesome guy.
He's a good dude. I like him.
He's a really cool guy. So I went, he called me up. He's like, I know you're looking for an Upper Deck Exquisite, because I was crazy for basketball back then. And I was like, yeah. I was like, he said, do you want the whole case? I'm like, nah, man, I don't have the $1,500, man. I mean, I don't have that. I was like, nah, let me just take a box. So I went over to his house. I picked out the box, and I picked the one in the middle. And he's like, oh, you're going to open it up here? I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to open it up at home. I'm going to sit down, watch the Jet game, and open it up. So I opened it up. it's a cherry. It comes with it. It's like a cherry wood box, and it's beautiful. It's like a cigar box, and you pull it out, and on top of the box it says Upper Deck Exquisite and all that stuff, and it's a 1-pack box with 5 cards for $500, and that's a lot of money back then. You know what I mean? To spend on a pack. So I opened it up. I'm sliding it out, and I see gold Sharpie on top of the Exquisite box. Autograph. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, 23 of 23.
Yeah.
What?
Jersey numbers.
Yeah.
Opened it up, and I'm like, damn. I was like, all right, it's on top of the box. You know, it's it's like Upper Deck Exquisite right on top. It had the sticker of authenticity on it and whatever. And I'm like, oh man. I was like, I called up my buddy really quick, and I'm like, yo, Ralph. I was like, you know, I just bought the Upper Deck Exquisite box. I was like, and it's an autograph box of LeBron and Jordan on the box, 23 of 23. And he's like, oh man, he's like, you know, when you open up that pack, I can guarantee you there's going to be LeBron James, Michael Jordan stuff in that pack. I said, all right, cool. So I called, I hung up the phone or whatever. I opened up the pack, every card, base card, Michael Jordan, 23 of 23. And every card after that was a dual autograph. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, 23 of 23. Dual auto jersey, dual auto patch, and dual auto super patch. 23 of 23. And that was probably my best pull I've ever had in my life. So I didn't know what to do with it and stuff. I brought it to a couple of shows. And again, I bought it for $500. It made it to the Hofstra show. It made it to the Bordentown show in Jersey. And it made it to the Huntington Hilton show. And it was crazy because not many people were like, oh my God, it's an awesome. Maybe 3 people asked about the box and said, oh man, that's a cool box. Not many were interested. And I know it's expensive. So I asked a buddy of mine that used to own a shop in Franklin Square to put it up. And I ended up selling the whole box, which I regret now, but it's been 15 years. I sold the whole box for $17,000. The box, the cards, everything. For 17.8 or whatever it was. I ended up getting like 14,000 after I paid fees, and I gave my boy Rob money to put it up or whatever. So I walked away with $14,000. So it was a great profit, right? 13,500 or whatever it was. So in 2016, I was working. My buddy Ralph called me up, and he sends me a picture, and he goes, John, guess whose card this is? And I'm like, I was working, so I didn't look at it or whatever. I took a look at it, and it was one of my cards. I sold it to a guy in Wisconsin, this whole box. He must have split it up through the years. So one of the cards, somebody must have got graded, and it was a 9.510 Beckett BGS. And it was the auto. It wasn't even the best card. It was the auto jersey. And that ended up selling for $68,000 back in 2016. And now I ask people, you know, and people are like, yeah, right, you didn't have it. I'm like, yeah, I did. You know, I did have it, you know, but right now I feel like that box, that whole set would probably be like a $2 million set, you know, and it was just,
if you put that in golden auctions right now,
know how much attention. And you know what? I didn't even call Seymour. It was back in the day. I didn't even call Seymour and tell him, oh man, look what I pulled, because I probably could have took a picture with him, and it probably would have been in Beckett, you know, in the Beckett price guide or whatever.
Yep.
And, you know, I didn't take many pictures of him. I think I did take a picture. I got to see if I have it somewhere, but I didn't take any pictures. I was just low key, you know, I brought it to a couple of low end shows, and, you know, it was just a hobby then, you know. Yeah. Now it's a business, and now know how much attention it would have got. Forget about it. I would have been I would have been up with Ken Golden up there. That's, you know, with it, you know what I mean? So it's just, it is what it is. But again, you know, you regret selling something, but you know, again, I made a profit, and I just went on with that. You know, after that, I just kept buying, and I took that 13,000, I reinvested, and this is where I'm at now, right? So, you know,
Well,
I had a couple
look
of
at
good,
it that way. That, that one pack took you on your journey to where you are.
definitely, that was one of the reasons why. What was one of the reasons on, I took off since then. There was a couple others, but that was one of the big reasons why I took off since then. And I reinvested, and then I made, again, I didn't have that one set was awesome, but I got $13,000 and I put it into, 300 different cards. So I built an inventory. So, and that's my motto, and building an inventory is key if you're a dealer. You know what I mean? Building a nice inventory, having a little something for everybody. That's my, that's my thing.
What's up, man? Yo, man, thank you so much for coming on, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
Definitely appreciate you coming on and talking about all the stuff. And I'm looking forward to the next show. Just send me on the Instagram. I'll be there.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, my next show is in Babylon. It's 90 tables, September 25th. That's my bigger show. We have awesome dealers, 90 tables, 92 tables. There's going to be food. I have Tatanka, an OG wrestling star, is going to be signing autographs. And courtesy of Wrestling Universe in Flushing. And then my next Hicksville show is October 8th. And that's a 50 table show. It's an awesome show. People love going back and forth into room, into the hallway. There's, I don't know, those big deals going on in that hallway, and stuff like that. And, always they're sitting down, dealing, and it's just a cool vibe, cool place, plenty of parking in both areas. Food, there's tons of different areas there that you can eat. It's easy parking right off the highway. So it's cool, man. And, I have a couple more shows at the end of the year, and thanks a lot, guys, for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. A lot of good stuff.
Thanks, man.
Yes,
thanks for having me.
Thank you, brother. I will talk to you soon.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the night, bro.
Peace.
Sure.
Later.
Awesome. Okay, let me pause the recording.